talk about it is no one knew what was going on. And we're not going to sit here and just make shit up about it if no one knows what's going on. Vita Vea wanted to be traded. And how many times have we seen a guy who wants to be traded and then you throw enough money at him and, he'll stick around? And what's surprising about this, the Buccaneers really aren't throwing that much more money at him. A one-year extension on top of the $18 million he was due to make this year. It's a $30 million extension with how much more this year?
It's $6 million this year.
$6 million more this year.
It becomes 2 years, 54, right?
No, 2 years, 48. It's 2 years, 48. It's
Okay.
30 plus 18.
Well, yeah, but he gets 6 more
had
this
18.
year, doesn't he? So they was 24 this year, no?
6 is part of the 30. 6 is part of the 30.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's $30 million in new money.
Gotcha.
6 of it this year. See, that's where the agents like to play a little Jedi mind trick because they cause people to think these deals are worth more than they are. There's $30 million in new money. So it's 6 of it this year, 24 of it next year. It's a straight 2-year, $48 million deal.
Yeah.
And there was no comment about fully guaranteed, which means he got a $6 million raise this year, and he committed for another year at $24 million. So he gave up his shot at free agency for $6 million. And he'll make $24 million next year unless the Buccaneers choose to cut him. I want to see the full structure.
Yeah.
I want to see when that $24 million is due next year. Is there like a $5 million roster bonus that's due in March that forces them to either defecate or get off the pot, which is an important term to have in there when you go into a contract year because you don't want the team to squat on your rights until right before the start of the season. I'm not comfortable if I'm Vita Vea committing beyond this year for only $6 million in extra money this year. I know only $6 million, but you go from 18 to 24, and then you've put yourself on a contract with a team that you didn't want to play for another year. He had a path out, and now he's given up his path out for an extra $6 million. And it's his decision.
Yeah, right.
It just doesn't. It seems like, what are we doing? Why did we do this for a month? If that's all it was, why didn't we reach this agreement a long time ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was always about money, I think that. And then the little that I did know, and I said this to you last week, I believe, when we did bring it up, was that I had heard from some people in the know that, yeah, he was definitely asking for a little bit more closer to the higher top of the market type of stuff there. And I think it was a little too expensive for where the Bucs were at. And then plus, I think the years on top of that and Vita Vea and his age, I think those both combined were a little bit of an issue. But Todd Bowles handled it the right way. All right, I don't know if Vita Vea really wanted to leave there. But, Mike, what I'm confused about, because I did see, right, with Jeremy Fowler on ESPN, he did say and come out and say that he thought that the $30 million was guaranteed. You know, I like Jeremy Fowler. I don't know if he's right or wrong there. Yeah,
well,
right.
Then maybe it is.
Right.
Maybe it is.
Right. So
Shefty didn't say it was fully guaranteed.
Right.
Shefty didn't say it was fully guaranteed. And it's in the interest of the agent to get that out there.
Yeah.
In the first text message that is sent to the small group of insiders who are waiting to engage in the thumb race on Twitter. And maybe Shefty just didn't put fully guaranteed in there as he was trying to beat Ian Rappaport, his colleague now, or Mike Garafolo, or Jeremy Fowler, or any of the other who's just, would you just sit around like a fireman? You're just sitting around for your phone to ding so you can copy and paste that text and put it on Twitter. That's the game. If you're gonna sign up for it, that's the game. And fully guaranteed may have got left out of Shefty's tweet.
Yeah, here, I'll read it for you just, word for word here. He will make $30 million guaranteed, a source told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, but it is effectively guaranteed all of the $48 million over the next 2 years, right? So that's at least that was what I was going off of there. I think that's right.
Okay.
Jeremy usually does good work, but regardless,
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you don't have to shake the pom-poms for the guy all day long. I'll defer to the accuracy of the report. It gets confusing very quickly, and if $48 million is effectively guaranteed, that means there's some big payment that is owed to him, or there's some vesting that happens that would make it stupid for the Buccaneers to cut him. That, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to get the 48.
Yeah.
So he's going to get the 48, which makes sense now. Now you're committing to the year, and they're committing to you. It wouldn't have made sense for him to commit to them if they're not committing to you. We talk about that all the time. These contracts are one way, and this seems like it's a two-way deal, which makes a one-year extension a little more sensible.
Yeah.
And it's $48 million over 2 years. I don't know, $24 million, is that fair where he's at in his career? Year number 9, 2-time Pro Bowler, markets now. What they push the market all the way up to? 35, 37?
Yeah.
How high did it go with
the
38.
last
Guy that sent it all
Jalen
the way
Carter
to the
got
top?
38.
38.
Yeah, right.
So is 24 fair for him?
I think it is, right? I mean, when our original conversation, one of the first things I said, if you'll remember, I just went, hey, Vita Vea is really good. He's awesome. But is he what he was 3-4 years ago, or when he signed this last contract that reset the market at that time? I think with that, where he's at, his age, and everything going forward, yeah, I think it is fair. The one comment I made to you when this first came out, I said, listen, Jordan Davis is making $26 a year. I go, you give me a choice, I'm taking Jordan Davis over Vita Vea right now, and especially with the age. So I think they found the sweet spot, and I think it's good for both. The Bucs needed him. And I know there were some teams interested, right? There was rumored the Bills and somebody else were definitely interested in acquiring Vita Vea. But the Bucs, let's not forget, the biggest issue with their football team was their defense last year. They couldn't stop anything. And they need Vita Vea there right now. And a big year for Todd Bowles, a transition year where, the spotlight's on him and that defense. It's a new offensive coordinator there in Tampa Bay once again. So I can understand them getting this done, but I think they did it the
Browns fans, tell me this. Did Cleveland just watch one of the nastiest defensive opportunities of the entire summer disappear? Or did Andrew Berry quietly make the smarter decision by staying out of an expensive fight? Because what we just heard about Vita Vea changes the story. This was not some random internet fantasy. Vea wanted out of Tampa Bay. Teams were calling. Buffalo checked, Chicago checked, San Francisco checked. There was a real moment where one of the most physically dominant interior defenders in football looked like he could actually move. And man, just imagine this for 1 second. Vita Vea collapsing the middle, Mason Graham attacking from the interior, Jared Verse screaming off the edge. Come on, quarterbacks would be looking at that front and thinking, where exactly am I supposed to go? That would have been violent football. That would have been AFC North football. But here is the twist. Tampa Bay just slammed that door shut. Vea agreed to a new deal that keeps him with the Buccaneers through 2027, reportedly giving him a $6 million bump this season and $30 million in new money. So no, we are not sitting here pretending the Browns are about to sign Vita Vea. They are not. Tampa chose its guy, paid its guy, and the trade window that existed only days ago is basically gone. But that does not make this conversation useless. Actually, I think it makes Cleveland's situation more interesting. Because while other teams were calling Tampa and potentially preparing to surrender draft capital and hand Vea a massive contract, the Browns already have a defensive front built around a younger core. Cleveland officially lists Jared Verse, Mason Graham, Malik Collins, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, and others across this rotation. Verse is not some developmental lottery ticket either. He arrived as the centerpiece of the Myles Garrett deal and is already being positioned as one of the faces of this new defense. So would Vita Vea have made this defense scarier? Absolutely. I'm not even going to pretend otherwise. Put a 340-plus pound wrecking ball in the middle, and everybody around him gets cleaner opportunities. The guards have to respect him. The center has to worry about him. Suddenly, Verse sees more one-on-ones. Mason Graham sees more favorable looks. That is the kind of addition that makes defensive coordinators start smiling in meetings. But here is where Browns fans need to look at the bigger picture. Vea is 31. Tampa just committed serious money to keep him. Cleveland is trying to build something that can survive beyond one season, not just win the offseason headline championship. And if the price involved premium draft capital plus a new contract, nope. I love the player, but I love flexibility too. Because those picks matter when you are still figuring out the quarterback position, still building around young talent, and still creating the next version of this roster. Andrew Berry does not need to force every superstar move just because Twitter would explode for 24 hours. Sometimes the smartest move is knowing when to walk away. And that is why I actually come out of this feeling pretty good about Cleveland. The Browns have youth up front. They have Verse, they have Graham, they have rotational depth, and they still have the flexibility to attack another opportunity when the right player, age, contract, and price line up. Vita Vea would have been terrifying in brown and orange, no question, but Tampa paid to keep him, and Cleveland doesn't have to panic because somebody else got their extension done. Keep the picks, keep developing the young monsters, and when the next real opportunity opens, be ready to strike. Dawg Pound, I want to hear this one from you. If Vita Vea had actually reached the trade market before signing that extension, how much would you have given Tampa to bring him to Cleveland? Would you have sacrificed a premium pick to pair him with Jared Verse and Mason Graham? Or are you happy the Browns kept their powder dry? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in, because this defense might already have enough young firepower to become a serious problem without needing the biggest name on the market.